Cool.
Anyway, thank you for having a chat with me about the leadership stuff. So I
Yeah, my
was
pleasure.
hoping to learn from experienced business owners who lead a team of people. What are
Yeah,
some of those challenges that
yeah.
you've probably overcome? Um, Things that you think other leaders or advice you would give other leaders, like what do they need to know when they're first hiring people or when they're dealing with like people problems? What are some of those things that are the main pain points and what do you advise them to do about it?
Okay. And so you want me to answer that now? Yeah?
I
Yeah?
do.
Okay. Hire right. Don't
Hire
be in
right.
a hurry. Yeah, don't be in a hurry. Get it right. It's absolutely crucial because if you don't get it right from the get-go, it's just going to be hard work.
Mm.
Um, and you're going to end up losing them anyway.
Yeah.
And look, along the way, I've broken my own rules. I mean, 18 years in this industry, but 20 odd years in other industries, all running people and
Mm.
having the right people. You just you need the right team. You just do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
What's
and
your tip for how to hire right?
um, Competency test, and then a
Yeah.
psychometric test. So check that they can do what they say they can do. I, I,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I don't read resumes. Like I don't
Yeah.
until they, I mean, I used to hire all my own people. You've got to map out a process, a set of steps. Like
Yeah.
every time, and you know this yourself, you'd advocate for this. Everything we do in business, we've got to track what we do and
Yeah.
develop a process. Like I mean, I could show you scary things about processes. I've got a process for everything,
Yes, I
and
don't know.
it's
It's back in
pretty
your
massive.
CRM.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, in a web build, there's 551 steps.
Yeah.
Um, I kid you not. I've got an onboarding process after I do hire. And
Yeah.
each hire, the person goes through that, reads that, and they make notations at the bottom of each section, flagging what questions I have so I can improve the process,
Yeah. Okay.
what information was wrong, whatever. But doing a competency test so you can prove that they can do what they say they can do, and you
Mhm.
map out a process for that. Like, do this, do this. What are your thoughts here? What problems? Whatever it is. Uh,
Yeah.
but then I have um, uh, conversations with them.
Yeah.
So, I keep it casual and I frame it, so look, I'm just jumping on a call because we understand you want the job and hey, we need a person. But we might not be a good fit for you and you might not be a good fit for us. So let's just talk about that. And so I'm framing it as just a casual conversation. And it
Yeah.
puts people at ease. They're not then being interviewed, which then
Yeah.
they present themselves better,
Yes.
more
Yeah.
more authentic,
Yeah.
and that's important. Um, so there are a couple of things I do, but with the psychometric tests, I mean, for advertising any role, you've got to have a position description. Well, you
Mhm.
can use that position description with a psychometric tool like Harrison Assessment
Mhm.
to see how they rate, and that's got nothing to do with skills,
Mm.
nothing to do with competency, but everything to do with how they're wired, how they react, how they respond.
Yeah.
Um, so, a big part for me is people being responsible, owning their own shit,
Yeah.
not being defensive.
Mm.
I cannot abide people who are defensive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean that's how they're wired. That's great, but you don't work for me. Like I won't compromise on that. And I'll give you an example of one where I did, if this fits the narrative, where I hired a guy. He was incredibly talented. Like he was up there, one of the best performers I've ever seen. And so I hired on competency, although there was a couple of red flags in his psychometric test.
Yeah.
And one of them was being defensive. 8 days in, and you know yourself, the onboarding process, the setup, it's just massive hiring a new person.
Mm.
8 days in, there was an issue between him and my project director. He ended up on a call with one of my senior team members, crying and sobbing because she was judging him and whatever. And I tried to um, do an intervention to rescue it. And then I say, hang on, whoa, Peter, what are you doing? Look at the Harrison assessment. Oh, defensive. That's what's going on. Boom. I let him go straight up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Broke my own rule and it backfired.
Well, you have to learn the lessons, don't you? By breaking your own rules.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, cool. All right. What about then when you have hired people and maybe they were good at the start, but things changed. They went downhill. You had to do performance management. Like what kind of
Yeah.
challenges do you have in that arena?
Yeah, look, it's most people they don't like to have those conversations. I don't mind it because I have a process again.
Yeah.
And the performance review is where there's certain parameters, we're talking about, oh God, I can't even remember, all these points of consideration, and they give themselves a score. So there's two columns.
Yeah.
They give themselves a score. We give them a score on an independent bit of paper, on the independent form. And so then we come together and they say, what did you score yourself for this? 7. Oh, we gave you 8. And so then it opens up conversation. So it becomes a conversational situation rather than a judging. But then it opens up, and then if there is an issue in a particular area, you have pre-read the Harrison assessment, so you can then bring that into the conversation. So again, it then becomes a conversation. So it's just having that process. So, and something else, if you're not doing an actual performance review, I think what's his name, Kenneth Blanchard's, 1 Minute Manager is also apt. Where, and what I've seen business owners do so badly, and I've been guilty of it myself, where you don't have the conversation sooner. And if you leave it, it festers, right? And so by the time you do talk to them, you blow up on them, and it's out of context for what initiated that particular conversation.
Yeah, totally. Yes. Yeah.
That's never good.
Yeah. And I've got some theories about why people just leave it, but do you have any ideas of why leaders leave that conversation?
People don't like confrontation.
Yeah.
They consider it confrontation rather than a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gee, you could almost make this into a podcast, Kat.
Yeah, we should. We should you're recording it. You can turn it into
I'm recording it. I mean, I'll give it to you. You do what you want. But I mean, if this is what you help people realize and help people see, I mean, our conversation is absolutely valid. It would make a really good, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with us, this part being included that in the D32 wall. So, you do with it as you see fit. So,
But I guess from what you said there is you think potentially some leadership training or what goes in a course would be helping people understand that confrontation doesn't have to be confrontational, and to help them with not only like the tools to do it well, like you said, your process, but also the change of mind that it has to be done.
Yes. Just reframe it, not confrontation, conversation. It's got the same CON word at the beginning. Because that's all it is. I've just had a message now, right in at 10:34. Just a heads up, X person has been commenting about X person's work, right? And so we need to have a conversation with this person. There's, an issue that needs to be dealt with, but it's not confrontation, it's conversation.
Yeah, yes. Again, I've got some ideas of how that would go. Do you have a way that you structure those conversations that you think works well?
No, I don't. I tend to go rather random myself, and I don't necessarily advocate for that, but I'm much of a wing it type of guy, and do it in the moment. So, should I adopt a process? Probably, or structure.
If you unconsciously have a process, like I'm sure you don't go up to them and go, "Hey, I heard this. What do you tell me about it?" Like, how might you start?
No, you'd be right in that actually, come to think of it. So, for this particular situation, I'll actually have a look at his start date and see if I should consider tying it into a performance review, or whether I jump just on a call and just say, hey, look, haven't touched base this year because it's early in the year, just touching base, and just have a conversation.
Yeah, yeah. So you're not jumping straight into the issue. You're just asking them how things are going and like eliciting from them what's going on, seeking to
Yeah.
understand first, and
Mm.
naturally bringing this topic into the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you would then say, "What's your perspective? What's your side of it?"
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And well, it's funny you should say that, because one of the sayings that I've got, if we get things wrong, and whether it's one of my team getting it wrong from a performance point of view, or they've
Yeah,
just got a thing wrong, I always say it's either a people problem or a process problem.
yeah,
Because it is, and I'll be conversational about that as well. It's like, I'll frame that. Hey, it's either a people problem or a process problem. Did the process not give you enough information? Because you built it this way, and that's not what we wanted. So there
yeah,
was either a misinterpretation either by you or because the process didn't support giving you enough information. So
yeah.
let's
Great.
talk about that, how you can understand it better. We had a situation yesterday where we got off a briefing session, a discovery wireframe session with a client. We did not have 100% clarity about the design, and normally we would. And this,
Hmm.
and so I then said to the team, well, how can we ask those questions before the meeting so we're
Yeah,
better?
okay.
Even though we've been doing it 18 years and we build stellar websites and they look sexy and all the rest of it, how can we just lift it up? And so one of my new designers said, well, I've got this idea, and she went off on this tangent, and yeah, and so they're the ones that are going to solve the problem, which is exactly
Excellent.
what you do want,
Well,
right?
I mean, like I'm hearing so many things in there that you sound like you do just naturally. And I don't know if you've had leadership training or anything, but you're focusing first on like collaborating, getting everyone together to think about how can we improve the process, that continuous improvement,
Yep.
not going straight to blame, you did it wrong, why didn't you ask the questions? It's like, how can we support the environment, the environment support you to do that? And you
Mm.
clearly somewhere down the line made it safe to speak up because this person is just, and you said she was relatively new, sharing an
Yeah.
idea because she
Yeah.
feels safe. She's not going to be shot down or told it's silly or anything like that.
Exactly right. Yeah. Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. And look, but I mean, I've been managing a long time, and you learn stuff. You hope to learn stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
But some people are very fixed, and that would be uh, where you step in and
yeah,
and challenge people that they've got fixed
yeah,
mind.
yes.
Yeah.
That's the hard bit, right? I love working with people who come to me who are like, I'm ready to learn. Tell me what you know. What can I do?
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas then you get the other people, normally because their boss has sent them, and they
Yes.
don't want to be there. They think they know everything. And
I know, and that's really scary. And you do see that. And look, I know this. Have you spoken to James Bryden? Did I ask you that question already? James Bryden. You need to meet James Bryden.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
he's
exactly.
he's he's actually the country manager for Harrison Assessment.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
actually know
And
how to investment, so I'm going to check them out.
look, a game changer.
Could you
Um, hey.
do an could you do an email intro for us or something?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. I'll just make a note. Hang on. Cat James. Um, so yeah, I'll do a intro. But no, look, he's a great guy, and the insights to Harrison Assessment gives me is just unbelievable. And we just did a very high level. So I've got some really good people on the team that are just perfect for the role in either competency, skills, and or wired. They handle me because I tend to be quite fiery as well. Like everything I've told you is quite mild mannered. Um, but I'm also very, very direct, and will say what needs to be said. I'm not shy. And anyway, there was something I was going to say about James and the Harrison assessment. You said something.
What were we saying before that?
Went off on a tangent there. Can't remember. Uh,
Ah,
mm,
like rewind.
yeah. Um, yeah. So, but look, meet James because the insights you'll get are unbelievable. Because you've got quite a dynamic personality, and like you present really well. So you'll be good in this role, and when you tap into people like James as well, yeah.
We were talking about people who don't want to change.
That's right, we were too. Yeah, I just came back to that myself. Um, so years ago, when I was in totally different industry, and I can remember I had this guy that I put up with forever, and my assistant manager at the time just had a hard ass attitude, was just ruthless, and he got people to do things, but it was begrudgingly. He didn't get them on board. It was,
Yeah,
it was one way to manage, and he
yeah,
just wasn't open and wouldn't learn. He was my 2IC and was very good at it and probably would have ended up being a good manager, but he
mm,
just had a mindset around that area and he wasn't open. And
yeah,
we had a situation with a particular staff member, and I ended up just saying, look, you're a pain in the ass. You don't get along with the other people. You're just a hassle, and it's
mm,
not pleasant for them. And I don't know how to deal with this situation. And
yeah.
he then explained some stuff that was going on for him, and he ended up volunteering to resign. He helped me find a replacement and helped me train the replacement, and went on his merry way. And we ended up with a guy.
When you're up front like that, you can get the right outcome for everyone.
Yeah, yeah, it was just a beautiful thing. Um, but
Right.
it took like 8 or 10 months to get there because
Mm.
I don't know how to do it, and so it was a really big lesson. It was quite a few years ago now, but it was a big learning lesson, and I think it's just that being direct but with compassion,
Yeah.
right?
I'm hearing something else that might go well in a course. It's like you're talking about hiring right, but then I think it's also important to help people with how to exit people from the business. Like, yes, you
Yeah,
can you're fired, see ya, but
yep,
like this situation with that person, how can you get it so that they want to leave, help them self-select out so it's not like a
mm,
bad situation. So
yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Something else I was going to ask you. I've got 5 minutes left. Um, Damn, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, okay. So I was going to summarize what you've said so far. In terms of what would be good for going into like a coaching course for mostly new leaders or people that don't have that experience. So you've mentioned about hiring right in the first place.
Mm,
You've
yep,
talked about having conversations
yep.
rather than confrontation, rather than just waiting for performance time all throughout the
Mhm.
time. Um, and damn it, there's something else. Um, we talked about other things like making it safe to speak and asking for ideas and collaborating
Yep.
and not blaming the person straight away. Do you think there's anything else that is absolutely key for a new leader to get their head around when
Mm.
they're starting out?
The- What came to mind, I don't know where this thought came from, is just around meeting structure, meeting format.
Yeah,
We have every day we have a, what do they call it? Daily focus session, right?
yeah,
So at 9 o'clock, the team jump on. I'm doing this today. I had this problem, and whatever. And within 10 to 15 minutes, there's a dozen of them or so on that call, and they all go about their day. So there's a bit of a team bonding as well as team clarity and task clarity and whatever.
yeah, yeah,
And that's good. And also trackability about what you're actually working on. And then
yeah.
the next day is what did you get done, because that
That's
task now has a strike through. And so that's good for our remote situation.
yeah.
But then we also have a team meeting on a Friday at 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of, well, it's evolved. Originally, it was it was for camaraderie and up-to-date news for the company and what's happening in the business. And I think that's really helpful because people want to know. They're not just
Yeah,
here for the money. They want to feel a part of the
totally,
team,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you've got to have that connectedness.
Mm,
But I didn't have a meeting format. And then what ended up happening, my project director, who's been with me for 6, 7 years, came up with an idea of like, we're going to be discussing project. This is the status here. This is what we went live with. Oh, this is who's was away. This is who's going to be away next week, and this whole thing. And it's built up over time. And so now I hand the meeting over to her, but I do a little bit of camaraderie stuff at the beginning,
yeah,
and also bring up anything that's valid or pertinent,
yeah,
with sponsorship events, whatever company news type stuff. So,
yeah,
but I'm sort of trying to define having a bit more of a format because depending on who the person is as to how they then communicate, because
Yeah.
when people are talking, we all sound important to ourselves.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if it's appropriate or professional or on point is debatable. So I think
Yeah.
for somebody to have a meeting format,
Yeah.
um,
Again, you
and you,
said great things there that, sorry, I cut you off, carry on.
no, go.
I was just going to like say again that the great things there is you've got that structure so that you can hand it to someone else and empower them with that skill of running a meeting,
Oh,
and you've got that thing to follow, and you're still there to provide that direction of forward thinking and
yep,
inspiration for the company as a whole, and communicating the vision and the purpose, reiterating it
yep,
every week. Yeah, it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
fantastic. Yeah.
Everybody's on board, and because she's going through projects, because we've got a design team, a tech team, a support team, SEO team. People are having their input into different aspects of the meeting. Even though she's got a summary,
Yeah.
there's an opportunity for people to get involved as well.
That is like one of the number one things for job satisfaction. When people can see the whole part of their task. If they're
Yeah,
just in their little corner doing a bit of it and don't see how it compares to the big picture,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely right. Because we are the designers are in their little box all the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
There's the task, there's the thing, and off they go. And they don't
yeah.
have much communication unless they've got tech issues with the design aspect or whatever that is. The thought that came to me too was, do you know David Price? Surely you know David
Yeah,
Price.
yeah, yeah, he does the pitching, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he does the pitching stuff, but also well connected. I'd recommend you have a one-to-one with him, catch up with him.
Yeah,
He's a great guy, him and Denise. So Denise coordinates the events now.
yeah.
So she's on the D32 team, and David MCs the Maxi events.
Mm.
But yeah, great people, and yeah, so connect in with them.
Yeah, will do. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your time on this, and I love the idea of making this a podcast. I think I will just post it up in our group because
Yeah,
the things we've spoken about can help people, whether they're doing their own market research or whether they
yep,
want to figure out how to lead a team. They're learning from you
yeah.
straight away. So
Yeah. Because ultimately we're all doing the same thing, right? We're building a machine. We're,
yeah,
we're we're building this thing for whatever drives us. So we're all on the same journey. So yeah, no, absolutely great to be on, Kat.
awesome, cool. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. I'm sure I'll talk to you soon about CRM stuff.
Cool. No worries at all. Good on you.
Thanks, Peter. See ya.
Cool. See ya.